In mid-century American homes, nights were, well, quiet by design. Bedrooms were tucked away at the end of hallways or up narrow staircases. Doors were heavy wood, closing with a solid click that sealed off sound. The floors beneath creaked under weight, reminding everyone where footsteps traveled. Families understood that silence preserved rest. Any disturbance was noticed immediately. Children learned to move softly, and adults spoke in low tones. Houses were structured to prioritize sleep. You can see it in floor plans and house tours. The physical layout enforced respect for night. Beds were firm and low to the ground. Slatted frames held mattresses stuffed with horsehair or cotton. The surfaces were dense, yet springy. Lying down, you felt the subtle give of every coil and fiber. Sheets were crisp, often linen or cotton, and rougher than modern fabrics. Blankets were layered for warmth and weight. Wool carried a coarse texture that shifted quietly when you moved. Pillows were solid, supporting the head without sinking completely. These beds were made for steady rest, not lounging or, excessive comfort. You felt the structure and weight of the bedding with every motion. Mattress maintenance was part of life. Families rotated and beat mattresses to maintain form. Cotton was fluffed daily. Horsehair was brushed to prevent clumping. The sound of brushing echoed softly in otherwise silent rooms. This physical care created even surfaces that resisted sagging. Bedding was not disposable. It required attention and rewarded respect. The tactile engagement with your sleep surface reinforced the habit of careful, deliberate movement at night. Room size and ceiling height influenced acoustics. Smaller rooms contained sound. High ceilings allowed voices and creaks to dissipate. Windows were thick, double-hung, often with shutters or heavy curtains. Closing them muffled outside noises. Rain, wind, or distant traffic softened. These elements shaped sleep habits. Every surface, from wooden floorboards to plaster walls, absorbed or reflected sound in ways the residents understood. Light from lamps or the moon shifted across the floor quietly. Shadows moved, adding visual calm without startling activity. Heating shaped movement and temperature awareness. Coal stoves and radiators radiated warmth slowly. Bedrooms stayed cool compared to living areas. Warmth pooled under bedding layers. You could feel temperature gradients with your hands. Steam hissed from radiators occasionally. The hiss reminded everyone to move carefully near metal surfaces. Drafts were blocked with door snakes or extra fabric. Maintaining these subtle temperature zones required nightly awareness. People learned to step lightly and respect quiet spaces for comfort and health. Daily habits reinforced the avoidance of disturbances. Evening chores ended before dark. Footwear was removed at doors or switched to slippers. Children were instructed in whispering tones for late-night needs. Lights were dimmed gradually. Candles or small lamps cast narrow cones of illumination. Shadows moved slowly across furniture. Every step was intentional. Even the act of drawing a curtain created a muted rustle. Families relied on these cues to maintain the sanctity of night. The awareness of sound and touch became instinctual. Furniture placement mattered. Dressers, desks, and chairs were arranged to allow clear paths. Every step avoided tripping or scraping wood. Heavy furniture absorbed movement noises. Pulling out a chair made a predictable creak. Floors creaked along known paths. These sounds served as signals to other household members. Knowing the acoustics prevented unnecessary disruption. Rooms were organized for efficiency and quiet. Every object had a functional position that supported calm nights. Bedding and bedroom routines influenced modern design insight. Today, soft mattresses and open floor plans, invite noise. Heavy doors and tactile bedding are, rather rare. Observing mid-century methods reveals that comfort does not require silence. Instead, structure, material, and habits create an environment where rest is respected. You can absolutely apply these principles to modern bedrooms. Consider firmness, layering, and spatial organization. Use tactile feedback and quiet cues to maintain nighttime order. Sleep quality rises when physical and auditory elements are aligned. Structural respect extended beyond bedrooms. Hallways, staircases, and common rooms supported quiet living. Carpets and runners softened footsteps, while walls buffered conversations and windows muffled outside sounds. Everyone knew the consequences of noise, you know. Habits, materials, and architecture formed a system that preserved rest. Walking softly, speaking in hushed tones, and arranging furniture deliberately reinforced the value of sleep. The environment shaped behavior more than rules or admonitions. You can really sense the precision when exploring these homes today. These practices culminated in a culture that avoided late-night disturbances. Sleep was protected by the house, the materials, and the routines. Every detail, from bedding weight to door placement, mattered. You experienced a tactile and auditory awareness that modern design often overlooks. Understanding this system provides practical lessons. You can structure spaces for calm, use materials that communicate sound and movement, and instill quiet routines. Mid-century Americans achieved rest through deliberate design, disciplined habits, and an acute awareness of touch and sound. Their example shows how environment shapes behavior at night. Takeaway. To respect your own sleep, consider the physical layout, bedding, firmness, and sound management. Observe how light, temperature, and furniture affect movement and noise. Build your space to cue calm behavior. Train awareness of tactile feedback and auditory signals. Each step, each layer of bedding, each closed door contributes to undisturbed rest. These are practical lessons from history you can implement immediately. Every night can become structured, quiet, and restorative. Subscribe to Warfield Prepper Chronicles and share this knowledge. Apply these insights and transform your nights into spaces of focus, awareness, and true rest. History provides the blueprint. Follow it to achieve disciplined, uninterrupted sleep.